live and when it
Yeah, I
starts.
can't tell. It doesn't say here. Oh, it says
Yeah.
custom live streaming service up on top.
Great. Then here we are. Welcome, folks. I am here today in the Spotlight Wednesday series where I get to interview guests that I particularly want to hear more from, that I want to learn from. And today is no different than that. It's JoAnna Brandi, a friend of mine for several years now. I've always been attracted to her work because it's about happiness. Hi, JoAnna.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. It's been a long time since we've had a chat about this, so this is great.
I know we both are still in our lane doing our thing.
Still my lane. Yes.
Well, I have a bio here and I'm going to read it just because it helps people get anchored on
Oh,
what you
sure.
are and what we're going to be talking about today. JoAnna Brandi is a positive leadership expert who has spent over 3 decades helping organizations create cultures where both people and performance thrive. And as a certified happiness officer and well-being officer, she transforms workplace stress into sustainable success by teaching leaders how to activate what she calls the positive spillover effect. We'll get to learn more about that for sure today.
Very
Her
good.
evidence-based approach has helped hundreds of organizations achieve measurable results, including 31% higher productivity and 37% increased sales, and a sought-after speaker for Vistage CEO groups for over 25 years. JoAnna brings the science of happiness to work, proving that positive leadership isn't just good for people, it's essential for profitable, resilient organizations. How's that?
I love it.
That's
Is that me?
you.
Is that me you're talking
That's just partly who you are. Isn't it funny that we have this
about?
frame called a bio?
I know.
Oh, I just can't tell you how thrilled to be back in conversation with you again. And I did read through some other things, and there's some things I didn't know before that I want to hear more about. And that's the
Oh, sure.
positive spillover effect.
Mhm.
You talked about, what was it, bouncing beyond, and that's something that looks like it's a trademark
I
of
put a little
yours.
stamp mark on the end of that one because that may be my next venture. I don't know yet.
Well, it's and then win, 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 and 5 pillars. So those are kind of the topic areas I hope we get to today. But bottom line, it's about you being in love with happiness.
Because I was never a very happy person.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's a funny, can I tell a funny story?
Yes.
Yeah.
Any
I
sort.
many years ago when I was living in New York, I read Dr. Martin Seligman's book called Learned oh my goodness.
Was it learned helplessness or
It wasn't Learned Helplessness though. Was it
uh-huh.
Learned No, it was I read that book, but then he
Uh-huh.
had one that came after it,
Oh,
which
about
was
positive.
about
Right?
positive, about optimism,
Yes.
learned
Okay.
optimism. And I read the book. I can remember, you know how I'm very kinesthetic. So I remember where I was sitting when I read a book. So sitting in my bed in Seacliff, New York, reading this. And it was devastating to me after reading this book. I am not an optimist.
Oh.
Because to him, the way he describes optimism and pessimism, these are explanatory styles. It's how you explain the world to yourself.
To yourself, the way you perceive, the way
Yeah,
we've learned to perceive.
exactly. So
Uh-huh.
optimists, they see negative things as temporary and pretty specific, while pessimists see negative things as permanent and pervasive, and sometimes they take it personally.
Uh-huh. The 3 Ps.
Yeah,
Pervasive,
and the
permanent,
way
and
that's how I remember them. And the way I usually explain it, because I live in Southern Florida, where it could be a gorgeous day like this, blue sky, and 30 seconds later, the clouds come in, the winds blow, and you're soaking wet.
oh.
So when the tourists come, they're here for a long period of time because a lot of them have taken up permanent residence here. So they have to be here 6 months and a day before they go
Uh-huh.
back to whence they came.
Uh-huh.
And I don't really love it, but anyway, uh, if the tourists are here and it rains, an optimist is going to say, it's raining. Hey, I heard they opened up three new museums here. Let's go.
Yeah.
The pessimist is going to do something like, oh my God, it's raining again. Every time I come here, it rains. Whenever I want to go. So they make it very personal
Uh-huh.
and very pervasive. Every time we come to Florida, it rains when we go out to lunch.
Yeah.
No, not true, but that's how they perceive it.
Yes.
Of
Yeah.
course, that's an exaggeration,
Uh-huh.
but I grew up with pessimists
Learned.
because my parents were lawyers. So what do they teach you in law school? They teach you to look for everything wrong.
Uh-huh.
So
Yes.
that behavior came home. Your hair looks awful. You only got an A. I got an A plus when I was in school.
Uh-huh.
That kind of stuff. So it was, and I was raised in the
Uh-huh.
Catholic schools. They were
Yes.
not, oh, at least in my experience, the most optimistic people in the
Yes.
world. But so I'm wired. I'm wired for a different kind of thinking.
Uh-huh.
I'm wired to look at what's wrong before I look at what's right.
Uh-huh.
So my quest from the time I first heard Marty Seligman talk has been to rewire every part of my brain and my body. So when I look at things, I look at them with gratitude. I look at them with optimism. It's an upward spiral as opposed to a downward spiral.
Yes. Well, I got that way you just did that and it's in your brain, but I have to say that it feels like you also mentioned it was in your body, so that it's got to come from
It's everywhere.
deeper
Yeah.
inside, right?
Yeah. Well, sure. Well, sure. Because if the first seven, I had a very tough first 7 years, and it's in the body. It's in the body.
Yeah.
So it's a body mind thing. It's not, you can't get rid of it by just
Uh-huh.
talk therapy or any of that kind of stuff. You really have to embody it
Uh-huh.
with maybe joyful movement or music, all the kinds of things that you can to get into the body.
Oh, I have so many directions I could go right now.
You go where you want to go. I'll follow along.
Oh, wow. I love what that you brought in and the way that you said embody. You went embody, and the emphasis was on whatever we need to do besides just think our ways through it, but to actually,
Yeah,
what does the expression in our physical experience, how does that lift ourselves up more?
right,
So
right.
I think that I just wanted to comment on what I saw you do and what you emphasized and
Well,
some of
one
the
of the
hints.
things that I do is because I'm fortunate enough to live near the beach, so I go there almost every night. I will throw off the day. I will use my hands. I will
Uh-huh.
throw them down. I will give it to the earth. I will give it
Oh,
to the water.
yeah.
And I'm very kinesthetic. So
Uh-huh.
for me, that works. I don't know how that would work for somebody who's just way too cerebral, but for me, I have to envision the negativity going down to my feet, grounded in the earth, going down to the mother, all of that. That's a great part of my own practice, is to try to get it off as much as possible. And I've even learned, there's all these wonderful new things called havening and things like that. But sometimes it's not just the gentle touch, it's the get it away, get
Oh,
out of here.
yes. Good point.
Shake
Good
it off.
point.
Shake it off. Just shake it out, shake it off. And a
I
lot
feel
of
like I'm
the,
doing that right
well,
now. That's
yeah,
good.
and a lot of the women teachers I follow uh,
Hmm.
play loud music
Hmm.
and have, well, are they all younger? No, some aren't. Some aren't particularly young, but they play loud music and they might have 100 people on a Zoom call and they get everybody up, shaking, dancing, punching, physically getting it out of the body, which
Yeah.
I think is really, really important.
Right. Cerebral, it made me wonder, and I was thinking maybe it would be writing something and then burning it.
I do that a lot too. I have at the end of, like, my birthday's coming up next week. So I may do a ceremony where I write down all the things I want to let go from this last year. I do that at New Year's. I often do that at a new moon. And then, because I
Hmm.
don't live in a place where I can really do that outdoors, or don't feel good doing it outdoors, I
Yeah.
take the spaghetti pot out onto my porch and I burn
Yeah.
it.
Oh, wow. This is a very transformative conversation for folks who are listening today that
Everybody's got to
they're
go grab their spaghetti pot.
yeah, but they're getting the ideas that there's more than just thinking your way through something
Yeah,
and
yeah,
mindset shifting. And
exactly.
I love this is something more new from you that I'm learning right now that feels really good. So you've got something, obviously, what I read in the bio was the spillover effect. I know I understand it and in even common sense, but
Right.
explain it in
And I
your
guess
own
I could
words.
pull out, let's see if I have one right here. I have a model I use. Um, I learned many years ago to do something called a future map. And the future map has a circle in the middle. And then coming from the circle in the middle come little straight lines with maybe four more circles.
Okay,
Coming
spokes and then circles. Uh-huh.
and more circles. And coming from that come more circles. So I work this. I was speaking to a group of CEOs last week, and no one can believe this when they do it. Um, the map looks like this. So I
Yes.
put positive workplace culture in the middle.
Uh-huh.
So first it starts with a positive workplace culture. What is, or in this case, four
One,
direct
two.
results of a positive workplace culture?
Uh-huh.
So the answer might be, here's one that's filled out. The answer might be engaged employees. Okay,
Yes.
well, what
Uh-huh.
happens when you get engaged employees? Well, you get more productivity. What
Yeah.
happens when you get, the second one may be quality, or the second one may be fun.
Yeah.
What happens when you get more fun? People get more
More
productive.
protective. Uh-huh.
So I will gather 4 to 8 people around one of these maps,
Uh-huh.
set a timer for 7 minutes,
Uh-huh.
and leave them alone.
Yes.
And then I will go over and lean over their shoulders because I've learned what to look for now and say, "Oh, that's wonderful. Hey, doesn't your culture impact your suppliers too?" So I'll introduce an idea they forgot
Uh-huh.
and I'll do it in a kind way. Well,
Right.
last week, I couldn't believe what happened. They had forgotten suppliers
Uh-huh.
and they all then looked, oh my God. And the conversation was fabulous. They
Uh-huh.
started saying things like, oh, you know what? If our suppliers like us more, they're going to give us info on the competition. And they went nuts with this conversation. So then I have them all walk away from it for a moment and come back with a different color pen.
Uh-huh.
Put a dollar sign on every circle where you're making or saving money.
Uh-huh.
And the conclusion is everywhere that
Yes.
when you create this positive workplace culture, it spills over in such a way that you begin to make money or save money.
Uh-huh.
So
Spillover.
the eyes go like this. It's
Uh-huh.
just unbelievable. So this is my gift to the world. This is what I'm trying to teach in the world now, because I think there's enough science on it right now to know when I'm nice to you, you're going to go be nice to 3 other people. I mean,
Right.
we now know
Uh-huh.
that not just negativity travels, positivity travels. So when you deal with a customer that's had a problem and they walk away feeling great about how you dealt with them,
Uh-huh.
they're going to go be nice to 2 or 3 more people.
Yes.
They may
Yeah.
be nice to their children. Whatever it is, they're left with that lingering positive feeling with which
Uh-huh.
they are likely to pass along.
Uh-huh. Okay, I get it. I get the sense of
Yeah.
the what's it called? They used to call it
And
the
actually, the
ripple.
it's a ripple effect, or you can call it the 3 degrees of connection, is what I
Uh-huh.
call
Uh-huh.
it. Is that there's always a degree of connection coming from your behavior.
And the bottom or the middle circle is you had
Well, right
positive
here, the
or
middle
optim.
circle that I use is positive workplace culture.
Okay, but we could put anything in the
You
middle
could put
of that
anything in the middle circle because
around.
it's a
Yes.
future map. You could use it to map your vacation. You could
Yeah.
use it to plan a party. You could use it for
Oh,
anything.
yeah.
I have
Yes.
I finally found the guy that taught it to me, who was a futurist. And
Uh-huh.
I finally found him and say, I want to use this in everything I do. What kind of credit do I need to give you? He said, oh, it's yours. Don't worry about it. So it was
Uh-huh.
lovely because it was like, I'm
Uh-huh.
not worried that I'm sort of borrowing somebody else's work. It's my
Uh-huh.
work.
Right,
So it was
right.
quite lovely. And the conversation that it creates is the important part.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't have to
Yes,
say much after that. You just have
right.
to say, well, take a look at your maps, folk, and tell me why it's important to go back and create a positive culture.
Right, right. Oh, that's wonderful. I
Yeah.
can see it. I've used mind mapping of it like that, what you're talking about, in order to plan something like
Yes.
a
Yeah.
class that I do. What is it that I want outcomes? What does it teach? But to go even further and further out, I think is fascinating. Spillover effect. Okay, and that probably leads to win, win, win.
Well, win-win-win is a communication program I wrote.
Uh-huh.
Wrote it years ago for a client out in the Midwest. And that is a sense of I'm winning, you're winning, and the larger organization is winning when we do that. Because I think
Uh-huh.
we always think of communication just being a two,
Yes.
you know.
Uh-huh.
But the thing is that when I'm able to feel like I've won and you're able to feel like you've won, the organization's winning. So it's a different communication style with great awareness
Uh-huh.
of how your communication is impacting other people and yourself, because how you communicate with yourself is, as you know, the most important piece of it all.
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah, if you're coming in with uncertainty or doubt about yourself and you're in a conversation with somebody that is part of a larger picture or culture or business, and this whole idea that you're talking about, the degrees that who you are impacts the person that you're with. And this is what I have always felt with you is that I always feel impacted by you. So today, more
You,
purposefully, I'm thinking about, okay, so who are the people I'm going to call to pass on what I feel like you've gifted me today with? So,
be my guest. I can't seem to get the word out there fast enough. I think all of us are a
yeah.
little slow this time of year. And I was just on a call uh, with my study group. I study with a bunch of people. And, we were talking about that things get slowed down this time of year. And she was talking about it's time for a fire sale. It's hot
Uh-huh.
out there. Put
Yeah.
something on sale. Get out there and sell.
Yeah, that was exactly what I did yesterday. A midsummer sale on my Find Your Voice trainings.
Oh, and that's probably what I'll do tomorrow. Because
Yeah.
usually what I do is run a book because my birthday's next week. So usually what
Yeah.
I do is run some sort of a hot birthday special.
Yeah.
And
Hot.
I want to look at some of these little courses because I primarily teach positive leadership,
Uh-huh.
which I'd be happy if that's the only thing I taught. But what has happened in the past was I teach positive leadership, and then the client goes, "And what else do you have?"
Yes.
So over time is how I develop when there's two levels of win-win-win communication. There's bouncing beyond. There's seven different programs that I created to keep
Ah,
my customers happy and to keep
yes.
myself evolving. I'm not happy
Uh-huh.
unless I'm creating something new.
Okay, there you are. You're just a pure creative spirit that's got
I
to keep
know.
on creating. That's interesting because when we first talked today, and I was thinking about your origin story about reading Seligman's po or optimism about that.
Learned
And
up.
that so that and even knowing a little bit about your early childhood, what you're talking about is the kind of trapped feeling that you had. And here you come into this life with this creative, bouncy, speaking of bouncy, let's get that
Oh
back to
yeah.
bouncing beyond, but you are a bouncing spirit and having to dodge the criticisms and the defending yourself
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
why did you get an A and not an A plus? So I'm just seeing this, your spirit was always there and you finally got to free it so that you can be this,
Finally, yeah. I'm still working on that.
yes,
There's some
well,
issues I'm still working on. Uh,
every day at the beach you go and do
every
something.
day,
So,
every day, every day, every day, every day. There's always something I'm working on. And I discovered 10 years ago it was ADHD. So that's a very challenging. I've dealt
mhm.
with massive grief. I think I've passed through that grief This is probably the first conversation you and I have where I haven't been crying because
Uh-huh.
the tears would come up and people would say, "What's wrong with you?" And I'd say, "I
Uh-huh.
don't know." And
Uh-huh.
then finally, I was able to put my finger on it working
Yeah.
with this coach. She
Uh-huh.
said, many women, especially happens to women, pay
Uh,
what's called the ADHD tax.
yeah.
So for many of your productive years, especially if you don't know you have it
Uh-huh.
and you don't get yourself going in a straight line,
Uh-huh.
you make a mess. You don't know what you did with your client information. Now I've been fortunate because I hyper focus.
Uh-huh.
So if you call me up and you tell me you need a program, you're getting that program. But
Yes.
nothing else will get done. So I'm in this learning, this learning situation
Uh-huh.
with understanding what happens with this particular, I'm learning how to say it, gift, this particular neurodiversity,
Yeah.
uh, and why I'm so creative.
Yes.
And all the people and coaches that I've used through the years have been trying to make me walk in a straight line.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Oh, you found the right
I'm on my way.
yes,
On my way.
yes. Yeah,
There's
well,
still some issues.
yeah. Well, before we get off, there are two more things I want to talk about. One is the bouncing beyond, and then also I want you to talk about what's in the back there, the 54 ways.
Oh, my book. Yeah, that's my
Yes.
fun book. That's
Yeah.
my book, and I'll tell you how that came about. Bouncing Beyond is a program that I wrote that speaks of why we have to get past resilient. Oprah ran a contest many, many years ago that said, "Can
Uh-huh.
you describe your life in 6 words?" I
Oh,
took it seriously for some reason and practice. So if I had to describe my life in 6 words, it would be bouncing back even better than before, or something. Maybe that was the second
uh-huh.
version, but it was bouncing back
Yes.
even better than before,
That's
or
6. Uh-huh.
something to that extent.
Yes.
But I've had it hanging on my wall and I've changed it 3 or 4 times until I got the beyond piece
Uh-huh.
that we can't afford now in this place and time to bounce back. We cannot go back. We
Oh,
can't
good
bounce
point.
back.
Yeah.
So this is resilience plus. So
Uh-huh.
what is resilience? What is beyond resilience? It's anti-fragility.
Uh-huh.
It's creating the kind of thinking where you don't even think about bouncing back. You bounce beyond it and you
Uh-huh.
come up with a new idea. You
Yeah.
come up with a better idea. And I believe that that is where we need to be right now.
Yes, I feel that not only where we need to be, but more people are seeing that and doing that because of current reality that and going back a couple of years to COVID, I don't think so. So I love this idea of oh, hey everybody listening, bouncing beyond. It's JoAnna Brandi's brand. Let's
Yeah.
let's all together join as we bounce forward. So the 54 ways. This is
That
probably
happened. That happened because of and I'll grab it in a minute. That happened because I was doing a seminar in on customer care because that's where my start was customer loyalty and customer care. My first book was called Winning at Customer Retention: 101 Ways to Keep Them Happy, Keep Them Loyal, and Keep Them Coming Back.
okay.
And I was in New Jersey doing a seminar, and I talked about positive thinking, and I talked about having a positive outlook, and I talked about something about staying positive in negative times, which apparently it was back then. And somebody raised their hand, and she just said, What do you do to stay positive in a negative world?" So I
Yeah.
answered whatever I answered on the spot, and this was a long-term client. I'll
Uh-huh.
tell you how long it was. I used to do a cassette tape for them every month.
Yes.
We did a company cassette tape. So I
Yeah.
said, you know what? Next month, I'm going to come back to you with 13 more ways that you can stay positive.
Uh-huh.
So that set it in motion.
Uh-huh.
And then I had lots of these ways. I took them and sent it to a friend of mine who was a publisher who said, you need pictures.
Oh,
So I carried
illustrations.
that manuscript in my bag for 4 years. And whenever I went to a marketing meeting and I met an illustrator, I had them give me a sample. None of them worked. And then I ran into Joanne Goldsmith, who she passed away 2 years ago, who was an amazing designer.
Mm.
I gave her the manuscript, and
Hmm.
she literally meditated everything in here. This one's called Take a Short Vacation.
Yeah.
She meditated and then she drew.
Oh,
It's
she felt the experience of what you were trying to create, and
absolutely,
then it came
absolutely.
through. What a
So
gift she
we,
had. Yeah.
this is, I think, the second or third printing. It's been revised uh,
Uh-huh.
to accommodate a number of things, people dying, whatever. And but when I do go, I don't do too many local events, but I'm going to start doing that again. When I do go and I bring this book with me, I always have a 2-for-1 special because invariably when a woman, I don't know what happens when a man buys the book, but when a woman buys one of these books, she always gives it away to somebody in need and
Uh,
then comes back to me and says, I want my copy.
yes. Okay. Yeah.
So it's a blessed little book. It's on
Uh-huh.
Amazon, and I don't recommend people go to Amazon. They never seem to have it in stock. They charge
Uh-huh.
too much for it, but I have it like on the bottom of my thing. I put to send to Barnes and Noble. But
Okay.
it is a fun book because a lot of people actually like to color in it.
Yes.
They're all line drawings.
Oh, oh, Joanna, this is
Get me your
wonderful.
address and I will send you one.
Oh, yeah. I'll give you my address after
Yeah,
we get
yeah,
off,
and I'll
after
send
we
you,
stop taping.
and you can enjoy it for yourself.
Oh, ooh, I feel the gift already. Especially the story about how the illustrations were made. That brings something else. When I get the book, I'll be not just looking at images, I'll be thinking about this woman who meditated and from
Yeah,
her own creative spirit,
yeah. She was
you illustrated what you were.
She did. She did. And she
Yeah.
was an award-winning designer already. I'll tell you,
Ah,
part of the story is that I was so anxious to get this done. It's not like I'm a patient person. So I carried that manuscript. And then I found a guy who did decent illustrations. And if it weren't for my daughter, who said to me, put that back in your briefcase. The illustrations are good, but they don't speak the heart of the book.
the heart.
So I put it back in the briefcase.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about timing and readiness and
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it
yeah.
is all about timing.
Yes. Well, I'm glad we have had a good time today again.
See?
And let's see, we'll have to find each other on opposite coasts and someday do a dance together. This is and hugs and
So
some,
well, I'm trying to get, I always thought you were in Connecticut. I mean, I don't know. I
yeah,
must have
that's
come in with the
far.
Connecticut crowd, but where are you in California? You
Yeah,
live,
just north of San Francisco.
well, one of my favorite places. My daughter used to live in San Francisco, so
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
lovely.
it'll be fun to play with you. Joanna, thank you so much.
Oh,
I'm
you're
going to
so welcome.
say goodbye and we'll put links in
So
the
welcome. You can put
comments.
the
And
links in the, yeah, this is on Facebook, right?
it's on Facebook in a private Facebook group, and then I will put an image of us. Let me take that
Take a
pic. Well,
picture.
I'll take a picture after we get off so that people don't
Okay.
watch us do our thing here.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Joanna.
Thank
Bye.
you for the invitation. It's been way too long for
Yeah.
us. We need to do
Yeah.
it more often.
Thank you.
Bye.